So this is just a reminder to make sure that you take things with a pinch of salt when it comes down to building brand authority, right? And when I talk about brand authority, I talk about your personal brand, your business brand, and your campaign brand. That's my formula. I believe that if you multiply your personal brand, your business brand, and your campaign brand, that gives you brand authority. And that is what allows you to actually improve your client pipeline and to drive more revenue. Because effectively, with that level of brand authority, you are the obvious choice and the key person of influence. And that's what I speak about a lot in my content and a lot in my sort of ecosystem of where I produce my content. And the reason why I say that you should take it with a pinch of salt is because not everything that someone will tell you, whether it comes down to a friend, whether it comes down to a colleague, or whether it comes down to even a coach that you're paying for, right? There's going to be so many sort of things that people are going to say, whether it comes down to you needing to improve on this content, or you should do it this way, or maybe you should increase the frequency like this, or maybe you should decrease the frequency. Everyone's going to share their sort of thoughts and insights into what they believe makes sense for your brand, right? And I suppose there's two sort of ways I want to go about this. So the first one is that if the person in question is sharing the advice, because I always say, take it with a pinch of salt. Take the advice, but then you have to also understand, where is that advice coming from? Is that person coming from a sort of genuine place? If so, cool, noted. Now they are in a genuine place. Is that person, do they have the prior experience of doing that said thing themselves? Because from there, then you start to then realize if that is something that you should actually take on board to the highest degree, or just take it in mind for future reference. And you need to be guided with these things as well. It's not a like one size fits all approach with all of these things, but you just have to use your wits and just have an understanding of the sort of people telling you these things and the why, because the why is important. But I feel that if they don't have that sort of experience of when it comes down to doing these particular things that you're looking to do or you started doing, then I don't believe that is the best case of getting particular feedback from, regarding a person who says a lot but hasn't done a lot in that sense. But then we also have the part from the person that you're paying to get the insights from. You're paying someone who's been there, done that, and they've reached like heights that you want to reach as well, right? So those are obviously the people that you're going to also gravitate to, and you're going to be very much receptive to what they have to say and how what they think can improve, whether it comes down to your content, whether it comes down to your work, whatever it is. But then with that in mind as well, despite the fact that they've reached great heights, and that's amazing, and you also want to replicate that level of success or even surpass that level of success, with that you also need to take it with a pinch of salt that their journey was a lot more different than yours. In some cases, you may want that level of success, but then are you someone that is willing to do those things in order to get there? Are you able to follow the steps to a T in order to get there? That is a question you need to ask yourself. But then also, with everyone's got a unique story to tell. Everyone's got a unique sort of way of documenting their journey and showcasing who they are. And that part for me is the part that you can't replicate. You can't replicate. No one has your story. No one has your journey. No one has your ups and downs. Everyone has ups and downs, but no one has the ups and downs that has been presented to, well, has been positioned for you in that sense. So with this, I just say you need to take things with a pinch of salt, because when it comes down to brand authority and when it comes down to building your brand online to the point where you want to start to generate clients and revenue and just have that pipeline of interest, right? There's so many sort of various different approaches to how you can do it. And in some cases, a lot of people, they remove the personality aspect from that because they feel that, well, for them it worked. There's not really much of an issue in terms of you having to showcase your sort of story or your positioning as long as you get the results right. So that also makes sense. But with the rise of, say, personal branding and really positioning yourself and putting yourself out there, that part has been a very interesting period in this lifetime, because now everyone assumes your personal brand is you just posting content online about your life and then leaving it as that. And then once you do that, yeah, fair enough, people know a bit more about you, but then that still isn't enough to actually generate interest for what you actually have to offer or what you actually have to sell. And a lot of the times when we think about personal branding, people just think of it as, becoming an influencer or just being more visible to the point where people have much more of an understanding of who you are. But I feel that you need to be able to focus on brand authority in order to build your personal brand, but then to also allow that to translate into actual revenue based on your business, right? So, with that, I will say you need to take these things with a pinch of salt. If you are someone who has a fantastic story, showcase that story, document that story, but you also need to reinforce the why. You need to reinforce how it all ties back into what you offer and what you do, right? With myself, I spent a considerable number of years working in corporate, feeling like my light, my fire was barely lit. And then it only took a moment of skydiving for me to realize that I spent a lot of my time being credible, having all these expertise and these insights and these know-hows in terms of how you can use that in PR and how you can use that to translate within your personal brand and your business brand and then your campaign brand. That's how the whole idea of my brand authority system came about. That's what I focus on in terms of really breaking down the methodologies of what it means to be able to build these three particular brands that will allow you to get brand authority. So with me realizing that and realizing that I didn't have the strategies in place, I didn't have the authority infrastructure in place for people not to only understand who I am a lot more, but then to also look at me and then realize that, you know what, I have something that they may not have in regards of how they can document and showcase their brand in a way that allows them to generate more opportunities for themselves and more leads. And then when I was able to put that together into my offering and my methodologies and my way of thinking, that changed a lot for me. That changed a lot for me. And it only happened because I took things with a pinch of salt. Had I decided not to, then I would still be in a position of not walking into my greatness. I would say I would feel very much stagnant and stuck. Whereas now I feel that the sky's the limit and I've only just got started with what I'm building and what I have to offer. And with everything, I always say, whether it comes down to client work or just people in general, I can tell you all of the tricks and the strategies and the methods and the techniques in order for you to reach that level of brand authority. But what will allow that brand authority to solidify within yourself is through you documenting and being forthcoming with your story in the process of doing all of that. Because then you showcase your personal brand, you have that level of visibility and that level of trust. And that's why I believe YouTube is a amazing platform for every person that is a service operator that works offering a service within the B2B space, because there's so many people that are effectively just selling lies, man. If we keep it real, they're not being forthcoming with themselves. And with my work as a brand authority strategist as well, my thing is I lead by example. All the things I'm doing, I would ask my client to do the same. Anything that I ask my client to do, I would never not do it myself. And that's why I went overboard and decided I'm going to do one video every single day. I'm not asking you to do one video a day. At the bare minimum, I'm asking you to do one a week. But if I can go and do one video a day and it's providing these various different opportunities just on the basis of me just showcasing my story and being visible, but at the same time, providing insights, giving you a few gems that you can apply and incorporate to your brand in real time, that is the thing that aligns it and keeps it cohesive. And then through that, this isn't the only platform that I do my work on. My core platforms is YouTube, LinkedIn, and Substack. And based on these videos alone, I've developed a system that everything is a constant loop. Everyone is able to see this content in various different ways. Just because I started with hair being the core platform and the base, and then everything else is repurposed effectively in the way that it needs to reach my particular audience as well. And that all came down to the point of learning from other people 100%, but then also taking it with a pinch of salt because they don't know my story as much as I know my story. Unfortunately, based on my experiences, I've learned how I'm able to amplify my story in a way that more people are able to hear it and understand where I'm coming from when it comes down to building your personal brand, building your business brand, using your campaign brand as a vehicle in order to for everything to be cohesive with each other, for both of them to grow simultaneously. That is what it's all about. And that's what I would advise. And with that, these are the strategies that I incorporate with my work. But like I said, I can show you all of the techniques, the tricks of everything. But once you embed it within your own ideologies and your whole methodology of what it means, what your work means, that is really when things get moving and we activate something special because we were able to complement the methodologies I've developed into a way that it works for you because you amplified it, knowing that you have your story and you have your journey and you found a way to really showcase that in a way that not only makes you relatable, but then also makes you someone credible as well. So keep going, man. Keep going. Take things with a pinch of salt and always recognize your story as an important story, man. But on that note, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out, man. Look after yourself.